Se mueve bastante mal.
After this motivating introduction, let's get to the facts about this device. The GKD 350H is praised for its ability to emulate a wide range of 8-bit and 16-bit retro gaming systems, and performance tests with PlayStation 1 games have shown that the device is capable of emulating several titles at 60 frames per second, indicating solid performance for games from that era. It is equipped with an Inginik X1830 SoC and has an X-Burst CPU with 1 core and 1 thread operating at 1.5 GHz. It has 128 MB DDR2 RAM and a 3.5-inch screen. The battery is 2,300 mAh, which allows between 4 and 6 hours of gaming on a single charge. This device does not have a dedicated GPU for 3D graphics processing. Instead, it offers video and image processing capabilities that can handle 2D graphics tasks through features integrated into the SoC, such as the video processing unit. So while the GKD 350H can run games that require 2D graphics and some limited 3D video capabilities, such as PS1 games, it may struggle with systems that rely heavily on 3D graphics, such as the Nintendo 64, due to the absence of a dedicated GPU. That said, here's its emulation power. Games on SNES FX and PS1 3D games with 60 FPS, N64 can be played poorly, while CPS3 runs at 60 FPS with overclocking to 1.9 GHz and the latest version of FBA. If you're wondering why this device can run SNES games with FX and PS1 3D games and has an absurd difficulty with the Nintendo 64, the answer can be given from 3 perspectives, being hardware complexity, graphics requirements, and emulator optimization. Firstly, the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64 have very different hardware architectures. The PS1 has a simpler, more linear architecture, which makes it easier for emulators to translate their operations to the hardware they are running on. The N64, on the other hand, has a more complex architecture, with a more advanced graphics pipeline and a digital signal coprocessor that handles many graphics and audio functions. The SNES, even with Super FX, is less complex than the N64. This means that fewer processing resources are needed to emulate SNES games with Super FX effectively. With overclocking to 1.9 GHz and using the latest version of the Final Burn Alpha (FBA) emulator, the GKD 350H is capable of running CPS3 system games at 60 FPS. This demonstrates that, despite its graphical limitations, the device can emulate advanced 2D arcade systems with satisfactory performance, as long as specific optimizations are made, such as overclocking. So, if you're in doubt as to whether this device is still worth it, think about your gaming priorities, because it's good at 2D games. The lack of a dedicated GPU limits its ability to effectively emulate systems that are more dependent on 3D graphics, such as the Nintendo 64. However, for SNES games with Super FX, PlayStation 1 and arcade systems such as CPS3, the GKD 350H proves to be a viable option, especially with tweaks such as overclocking. Moving on to the GKD Mini, which has exactly the same technical specifications as the SoC, with the exception of the battery, which is now 2,500 mAh and allows you to play for between 6 and 7 hours. Apart from that, there are a few criticisms of this device, which are the plastic and flimsy build quality, the user interface, which is ugly and reminiscent of portable devices from years ago, and the price, which is almost $20 more expensive than the GKD 350H. I suppose the GameKiddy company is made up of geniuses. So that's it for today, folks. Consider subscribing if you wish, and see you next time.